Spoken mate, I haven't thought about flying for a long time. I haven't dreamed of that moment when I was alone above the clouds for a long time. I haven't dreamed of waking up in a room surrounded in blue and green grass for more years than I could dream of remembering. I haven't walked back into the past or scratched on the doors of my origins, where it all came from, since I held up that cape for the last time.
Return to Cape Town 10th Year Anniversary Edition is a revised version of Andy N's first poetry book. The book can be purchased from Amazon and it contains numerous additional material.
Spoken Label. Hi, it's Andy N from Spoken Label. Thank you today for streaming or downloading another episode of Spoken Label. Spoken Label was originally set up on beginning of 2016 and as of speaking has currently nearly 300 sessions. The full archive is available on Spoken Label bandcamp.com. Although it is available for free for stream and download if you wish, I am always grateful for any sort of kind of donation to enable me to keep the running costs of this podcast going. And enjoy. Take care. Bye bye. Spoken Label. Hi guys, Andy N. Spoken Label back in the house on a Tuesday evening. We're over today to a fairly local actually, and I met this young gentleman relatively recently back in January over at Word Central. And he then read for us at Speakeasy in February. I'm hoping to get him back again soon. Now, Scott, obviously, if people don't know you then, do you want to first of all introduce yourself to everybody? Tell them obviously who you are, where you came from, and what started off your creativity. We'll start from there.
Yeah, no worries. Hello, I'm Scott. I was actually moved around quite a lot as a kid, but born Milton Keynes way, and then kind of grew up in Stafford, which is, I guess, my hometown. And then, so I mean, as far as my creative journey started when I was probably growing up in Stafford at that time. Actually, my first instrument was the bagpipes. So
wow!
Yeah,
wow!
I had a bit of a strange upbringing into kind of music and creativity. So that was So I was kind of about probably 12, 13, something like that. And used to play in a pipe band. So we used to do sort of, all these military marches and stuff. And I used to do solo bits, play sort of weddings, funerals, and all this sort of thing. So that was kind of my first creative spur, I suppose. Which, obviously to my peers was wildly different.
Yeah, somewhat from what you told me, what you did afterwards. That's certainly. Where did the bagpipes come from then?
So I went to Scotland when I was, I don't know, probably about 7, 8, something like that. And we saw one of the mini tattoos in Dumfries and Galloway, and sort of said, had the idea. I was like, I want to do that one day. So started, at a young age on something called the Northumbrian Pipe. So they used bellows rather than sort of your lungs to inflate the bag. And then as I got a bit older, kind of progressed onto like the Highland pipes, which are the traditional bagpipes that you see, in Scotland, your staple bagpipes, I suppose. But yeah, so that was kind of my first inkling into music. And then not long after that, probably around the same age, 13, 14, I started playing the guitar. And then doing sort of singer-songwriter bits. So I think, obviously, lyrically and that sort of content was where I started formulating a kind of love for words, really.
Right, yeah. That's why I would have found it more interesting. You learn how your love of words came from playing the bagpipes. So I was like, that would have been like one extreme to the other, because my family and my dad's side is Scottish. So
really?
So I've grown up with bagpipe music, and I haven't got the lungs to play it, but my dad does play it all the time. To this day he does. So it's like every time I go and see him, that bagpipe music going on. So yeah, I'm used to that.
That's brilliant.
That's why.
Yeah, I mean, a few and far between down these ends, and but yeah, I used to busk and stuff on Market Street every now and again and things.
Was that your singer-songwriter stuff, or your bagpipes?
No, well, a bit of both, really.
Was it really? Oh wow!
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. every now and again. So, but yeah, I mean, unfortunately, years of drinking and smoking and stuff have not been too kind. So,
Yeah, no, that's fair
yeah,
play there, mate. Yeah, it does tend
yeah.
to. I think anyone's interested in bagpipes, you've got to have, and you say you'd agree with, you've got to have quite strong lungs, haven't you? Because it's a difficult
Yes, yeah,
instrument
yeah,
to play, that's for sure. So that's why. Oh, brilliant.
absolutely, yeah.
No, obviously,
That's it. Sorry,
backtracking
go on.
anyway. Obviously, I know you went and did singer-songwriter stuff then, and you're involved
Yes.
in, after you came to. Was it in Manchester when you with your band for a couple of years?
Yeah, so I was in a band before that I made called Newspeak, which you'll know from the language of George Orwell, etc. But yeah, so that was kind of my first band when I was 14, 15 maybe. With a couple of lads I used to knock around with at school, and we used to practice up at my mum's. So we had like a little shed that was kind of semi soundproof, and managed to get like a little drum kit in there and stuff. And we only ever played one gig, but it was good at the Grapes. And then yeah, when I moved to Manchester, studied music. Well, I went to college first, and then studied music in Salford, Salford, as we said. But yeah, Salford Uni, which was fantastic. It was all kind of state of the art studios and stuff, and kind of really got my teeth into it. More so in my second and third year. I think first year was getting to know the city, should we say? I think that's the PC term.
Well, when I studied at Bolton, the words were getting pissed as many pub as you could, basically.
Oh, yeah, well, there you go. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, I think things have not changed then.
Yeah, things don't change, mate. I went as a mature student, so I said, but yeah, I know what you mean. That's if things don't change, definitely.
Yeah, yeah. I got really good at pools, so I suppose that's something.
Brilliant, mate. Okay, then. So obviously, like I said, then your band, obviously, as bands do sometimes, it faded away after time, didn't it? Really. So,
That's
and obviously,
it, yeah.
and then we're at where we are now, really, aren't we? I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, it was the band was in uni-wise was Velvet Shakes. Still, music on Spotify and stuff, or wherever you want to find it. But yeah, we were doing pretty well. It was the year just before COVID kicked off and stuff, and we've got picked to play a couple of festivals and things, and looked like things were shaping up to kind of do quite well. And then obviously pandemic and things, and it was obviously very, very difficult to maintain. And our kind of bassist ended up sort of moving to Kenya for a while, and obviously it's a bit of a commute for practice.
Yeah, slightly there, isn't it? So,
yeah. So it just didn't feel right continuing sort of without him and that sort of thing. And we all came to the mutual decision that it's probably run its course, which was a hard thing for all of us, really, because it was a very much a kind of family unit for all a lot of us, really. We all kind of got a lot of issues with mental health and families and all the rest of it, as everyone does, and that was kind of a safe space for us to exist and make art together, really. So it was quite a difficult thing, quite a difficult decision for all of us, I think. But again, I wouldn't have necessarily put my energies into doing what I'm doing now and writing more poetry and making music of my own volition, because before we started recording, we were having a little chat about that sort of fact of when you're in that sort of band environment and everything's a couple of gigs every week and you're practicing as much as you can, it's hard to kind of take yourself away from that and question sort of what you want or what your motives are, I guess. So it's nice to have a bit of breathing space, I suppose.
Yeah, you can't calm down time completely. I think you do, because I've done like been in 3 full-time bands over the years, and you're right, it's a pressure cooker sometimes, and it's like, I mean, if you don't become a family, you end up wanting to kill each other by the end of it, and I've been through that before now. So I agree with you completely what you said there. So obviously now, like I said, you now moved on to the spoken word circuit, really, haven't you? So that the 2 times I've seen you, and I know you've done other slots as well, where you've gone into what we probably think is more flash fiction way. So tell us about the difference from that, then, from your singer-songwriting work.
I think I've developed like a real fascination with sort of wordplay and oh, sorry, email coming there. Wordplay and just how things fit together. I mean, my sort of style, I suppose, is like a stream of consciousness sort of if I feel it, I write it, and it just kind of flows in that way. And then I'll go back and, edit it and sort of readjust things and if necessary. But I like it to be sort of quite off the cuff, quite raw, and quite, I don't know, relatable, I suppose, and unchanged. But yeah, so I'm very, very new to the spoken word side of things, and it's a very different, beast when you're with 3 other members on the stage than it is when you're on your own. So I remember that first gig that you saw me at, I was bricking it. That's pretty.
Oh, were you? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And those 2 times I've seen you, I didn't get you there at all, to be honest with you. But I think you've probably got a factor really with, obviously, we've been on stage before the stage presence. I think when you get over the fact it's just you now on stage instead of 4 of you, I suppose the dynamics are different, aren't they? So
definitely nothing to hide behind, and no music, and I think I spoke at a million miles an hour at that first gig because I got through it. And but yeah, I've really, it feels like it's my achievement and my work and my kind of heart and soul that's in this now. So it is a very different dynamic, and I find it hard to get the drive sometimes, to give myself a kick up the arse to actually knuckle down and get stuff going. There's been a lot of good TV on recently, it's not my fault.
What you should do, honestly, Scott, and I tell everyone this, is get rid of it. And that way then, like when I come home from work, me and the wife, obviously, we will perhaps watch something on, say, Prime or something on Netflix for half an hour before we're having our tea. And then we're both cracking on with bits and pieces all night long then. So that's why our creativity is probably sky high sometimes, because that's what we tell people, that's what we do. So I think it's a habit. Do you think it is dangerous ground when you get into turn your TV on something? You sit there all night, can't you, if you're not careful?
Yeah. Oh, easily. Yeah, definitely. So but that's something that my productivity is not the greatest at the moment. So I'm trying to address that. But like I say, so obviously it's still a very new thing for me, and I'm doing things, but they're happening slowly at the moment, which is again a different thing than being in the fast lane of band stuff and trying to gig as much as possible and play everything all the time. And I'm quite enjoying that because it does give me a bit of space to kind of actually reread things and edit things. But I've done a few bits. I wrote like a little piece of poetry in one of my friends' queer zine. So that was nice to actually get something published and have a tangible piece of material that has my work in it.
Yeah, of course, yes, completely. Oh, excellent. So yeah. No, I get completely that. So I'd obviously start thinking obviously ahead now then, more because obviously, like I said, there's not a ton more we can add because I think you're quite new to the poetry. I want people today to hear more of your work, really. But I know you told me you've got a single on the way, haven't you, as a future project?
That's right. Yeah. So one of the pieces I'm going to recite today is called Captain Hindsight. So it's quite a strange thing at the moment for me because I don't know where the audience is, or I don't know who will kind of relate to that. But what I've been trying to do is put the spoken word more to music and kind of make that bridge and mesh those things together. So yeah, the piece is mainly about my kind of struggles with my mental health, hindsight being a beautiful thing as it is, things that I'd maybe not looked at properly or glazed over, or this is written at a point in my life where I was kind of doing a lot of recreational things that I probably shouldn't have been doing.
All I'm going to say today is whoops.
Yeah, whoops indeed. But I mean, that's again been another part of my journey. So I've been sober now, completely stone cold, for coming on for 9 months. So that's
a good start, mate. That's a good start.
Yeah.
It's like it is. I've not told you this before actually, but I've barely drunk for just over 10 years now because I became diabetic when I was 38, and I probably overdid it with the drinking and the partying, truth be told to you. That's why but the body reacted. And I think sometimes you get to the stage, don't you, where you've got to know when to stop, basically.
But that's it, yeah. And I got myself in quite a big hole, and there was only really kind of two options, and I think I chose the right one, and it's been very difficult. Every day is very difficult, but especially considering 26, and it's what all of my mates do, and the music industry as it is a very kind of a bit of a boiling pot for that sort of thing. So it's been hard to kind of take myself completely out of that, and lost people that I thought were my friends, and feel very isolated at times. But I know what I'm building and what I'm working on now, I wouldn't be doing if I was still of that lifestyle, and I think that's worth more to me, is knowing what I'm doing is proactive, and it's actually filling me with a lot of joy, and rather than kind of, I can see an end now, or I can see
good.
a future.
No, that's a good thing. That's a good thing, that, mate, because I don't want to get into the preaching game. I know you're not that type of lad either, but certainly, I think sometimes if you learn to walk away from that side of things, it focuses you more sometimes. And I'll just give you that probably the focus on it, apart from when you're in the day job. Then you can sit down after work, aren't you, and start thinking, well, how about this and how about that?
Yeah. And I've not got that cloudy mind as such anymore, I think probably the opposite. So I'm not sleeping, but I've got so many ideas.
Oh, listen, I don't sleep. I sleep about 4 hours a night. So so I know exactly what you mean with that one, mate.
That one. We've definitely not cracked that one at all.
No, I said, mate, I'm 49 now, and I've not cracked the game of sleep yet. And to be honest with you, Amanda's even worse, but that's her story. I want to ask you, obviously, before we wrap up then, obviously, with your single getting ready for coming out, what's your studio setup like for it then? Have you been having certain instruments on this, have you? Or have you been using that sort of programs for it, have you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty good with Logic. So I've just done it DIY, all at home. So all the guitars recorded just through my interface. And then, mic'd up at home, just in my bedroom, which is how we did all of the band stuff. Bar one single, we just did it DIY, just in my mate Josh's front room. But I like working that way, some way you feel comfortable, and with obviously software the way it is now, and with the hardware, you can basically create a studio in your own room. So it's been fairly easy in terms of the setup. I haven't had to go and book out any studios or anything, or I can kind of do it all on my own.
Good. I think that's what's good things nowadays, isn't it? Like I said, it's like you will notice when you're in your band before as well. It's the way things are going nowadays. You can easily do things in your own bedroom, can't you?
Yeah.
Or perhaps send the track over to you, say a friend of yours over by the internet, and get them to master it for you, or put extra instruments on it. Yeah, I've done that myself with bits and pieces, and it's good fun.
And that's exactly what's happened with this one. So Josh, who was the front man and lead for Velvet Shakes, he's still making music, he'll still producing. We're still really good friends. And I went over to see him, and he said, "Yeah, let me have a play with it." Because I mean, some of it is very over my head. The mastering side of things, I have no idea. I don't believe that it really exists. I think it's just something that producers say to make them seem.
I'm gonna say no comment there. That's all I'm gonna say, mate. Right, I said no. I know producers and masters. They all say the same thing to me. Oh, you've got it done. And I thought, well, I'm wondering if sometimes, honestly, whether I'm going to a bit tone deaf as I get older, or like you said, they're just talking cobblers, aren't they?
This is it. No, don't want to disrespect any mastering, but he's done a very good job. But
no, cool. Now, obviously, obviously, the track's not ready for release yet. I know it's not. So, obviously, if people want to find out more about you, Scott, where are the best going in the meantime?
I mean, I've got a new-ish Instagram page that I'm going to keep all of my sort of creative pursuits on, which is at Hill Scott Heron. You followed
that Speakeasy page before. And I was wondering if that was you actually.
I did, yeah. So that's going to be, I guess, the kind of core of all the creative stuff is going to be on there. So a little homage to Gil Scott Heron, obviously, poets and musicians. So, but yeah, other than that, Scott Hilgrim is another Instagram account. That's personal stuff. But I'm hoping to get everything out Bandcamp / Spotify, all the usual streaming sites and things as this kind of progresses, which is quite exciting, really. But yeah.
Oh yeah, no, we've got a good luck with it, definitely. All the rest of it's got definitely. I think obviously now you've got not in the band, you've got your time to have your fingers and lots of pies, really, haven't you? So no, I think it's no,
Yeah.
I think you definitely got something. Like anyone sees you, you'll see that straight away with your pieces. They're really quite. I think they're really interesting, vivid pieces. So all the best to it, mate. So anyway, mate, right. What we're going to do then? We'll take a quick break, let you get composed for us, and we'll be back in a few minutes. And Scott's going to do a couple pieces for us. I'm looking forward to this. So see you all in a minute.
Perfect.
Spoken Label. Hi guys. Yes, we are still here. Spoken Label. Over to the wonderful Scott Hill is going to do, I believe, 2 of his pieces for us. Over to you, mate.
Thank you very much. So yeah, this first one is called Captain Hindsight. So this is the one that I've kind of made into a track as well. But yeah, so as I said before, it's kind of my little story about, where my head was at maybe a couple of years ago. Yeah, so I'll continue. I feel about as enlightened as a black hole, devouring my essence, and with it my presence, a pretense in present tense. Reprehension beguiled by tension. If vulnerability is the core of creativity, then why did I follow the rabbit? Surely vulnerability exists on the fringes of the warren, not down here, right at the bottom. Hello, old friend, I miss you not, for you constantly, consistently infiltrate and indoctrinate my mind in limbo with my limbic lobe. A space-age bubonic plague becoming disengaged as ravaged now is my brain. A sewer rat seems cleaner than my thoughts. However, China proclaims it is indeed their year, so maybe those thoughts serve purpose here. Despair does not care for the now fair-haired, graciously charming with a newfound flair, but it's gone off and gone out, and they had only one left. Typical. Stranded again in the old deep blue, Sinatra's eyes catastrophize and encapsulate how I feel inside, the foggiest day I've known. Born again is the vagabond and renegade of grief, with narcissistic qualms of disbelief, with lips pursed tight round the chalky white stick. I draw you, and draw from you my ill-disposed, juxtaposed, decomposing life source, killing me softly, contradicting my mortality. Early grave anon. Keep Starbucks for the 5-star fucks. I can't afford a tea bag. I've tried lifting shops, but their concrete blocks hold strong as ox for such a scrawny scumbag. And no, I wouldn't like a bag. The breadline bred my victimless crime as if tied to a lifeline on the edge of a knife, but I've nothing to cut but the story of my life. And action. Here we go again. All aboard the HMS Black Dog, Captain Hindsight at the helm, with shipmates General Waste and Private Browsing, reporting for duty. Thank you, Enya. Sail away we shall. I hope we'll come back soon, but only time will tell.
Brilliant stuff. Where did the inspiration of that piece come from, Scott?
So it was a point where I was sort of very depressed, to be honest, and it was more so a piece about my kind of dissociative tendencies and the fact that I was really had no money. I was at a point where I was kind of bouncing £1 between bank accounts so I could use contactless for 3 or 4 days.
Oh, bloody hell, God.
But yeah, so it was all kind of coming to a head. But I never wanted to be at home because the home situation was really bad, and was just going out and just going out a lot, far too much. So it's kind of a reflection of what that was like, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I can relate to that at that age, certainly. So that was a great piece, man. Really, really good stuff. So, okay, I know you're going to do another piece for us now, aren't you, as well?
Yeah, so I'll introduce this one a little bit more. I think this is actually kind of the debut of this one being read. So this is, I identify as a non-binary queer person, and this is about kind of my coming of age. I don't know how to phrase that. My queer coming out story, but also kind of fascination with, makeup and stuff growing up, but something that I repressed for many, 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 many years. But now is, a part of every fibre of my being, and I kind of relish that. So So yeah, this is called For As Long As I Can Remember. So for as long as I can remember, I was fascinated by you. The simple ability to transform. Smoke and mirror for a smoky eye, cloak and dagger come evening time. Height of which I had not stature to possess, but with razor-sharp elegance gave utmost prowess. A tug of war between tea-girl and whore, but on which side do I fall? Unable to separate sex from sex, carousal, arousal, or nature versus nurture. Hiding in holidays, hoe hidden in plain sight, but Old Hallows night and I feel alive. Solely saddened and deeply compromised. Stocking suspenders and a sail synthetic wig, Y2K crop top and a 2-bit tartan mini. Adorned with faux mink, the stink of pink drink falls victim to pebble dash porcelain sink. Confide in me, your 2 for 5 wine, for I know how you feel inside. Because it's only for a laugh. It's only for a laugh. It's lonely for a laugh. Changing rooms full of boots and studs in mud and blood and sweat and hurt and dirt, bruises, grazes, slaps on the back. You'll never fit into a room like that. But you're all getting fit and he's getting fit and oh shit, steam room saunas soon begun. But again, it's only a bit of fun. Sorry lads, I can't stay. Sunday dinner's on the way. I can't be late. She slaved all day. You must understand. You don't understand. The trip of peaks with freaks and geeks, cliques and sneaks, queasy bus ride bleak. From cacophony of classmates came crescendo of convivial congregation. My subconscious subject, a dormant gestation, came to fruition without hesitation. Miss Androgyny. Neon tights, panties over trousers. I'll wear your bra, you paint my eyelids. Banish the slug in my boxes while we slug boxes of wine. Put down simply to high school highs. You sat atop the beach dresser drawers, grandiose golden glass, a backdrop to behold. Max Factor marks the spot. Gold, silver, diamonds, rubies, pearls, an entire costume collection courtesy of Accessorize, precious only in the beholder's eyes. And why don't you try them on for size? I can't. Don't bow down to the forbidden fruit. You're reckless and worthless. They'll laugh at you. But the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. But when I do bite, am I Adam or Eve? Sleeping beauty, unconscious still, the chicane of my brain renders me ill. Green-eyed ghoul rears its head, but they're flawless and fanciful and so confident in bed. Flaunting femininity, bodacious butterfly, incessant tribulations, yet never awry. Why can't I know which side I lie? Toss up the coin, heads or tails, queen or kingdom, Liz or lion. I choke on my own disposition. Cocaine to clarify cognition. I grapple with the rotten apple of my eye as shamed silken robes draw together my demise. For as long as I can remember, I've been unsatisfied by you. For as long as I can remember, I've lived untrue.
Powerful. That's really, really powerful. That one, Scott. It is. It's I mean, good writing sometimes is when there's two trains of thought really, and yours second one where I felt that piece. Then it really felt like it was really straight from the heart. I think all good writing's got to be done to that some sort of level like that. How do you do? What's your opinion on that? Do you agree with that really?
Thank you, Andy. Yeah, I do. Again, it's something that I've been kind of fraught with from for as long as I can remember. But it is from the heart. It's real experiences, things that happened to me and shaped me and changed me in a lot of ways, and something that I'm still very recently kind of coming to grips with. And over lockdown, that was a period of time where I did sit with myself, and obviously everyone had to, and kind of played with that idea and explored in a lot of new ways. Just that sense of self and who is Scott and who have I been, who do I want to be, all of these very ethereal questions, but it's something that has been a part of me forever, and it's nice that I can try and access that and share and formulate it into something that's meaningful, and that I hope people will relate to. It's never an easy journey, but I feel like I'm kind of just starting to see the light at the end of the rainbow.
Yeah. No, I think you do, don't you? Sometimes it's like Another thing I'm always believing as well is you've got to go through padding the shit before you get to the good stuff, really.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, my case, that came along later on in life, but I came to creativity later on, really. You started being there right at the beginning, like it pushing yourself onwards. And I think you're at the stage now, and people will get to see you live. I think you're at the point now where you just really started to expand your horizons, what I think you can do as a person with your creativity.
I really appreciate that, Andy, because the last couple of weeks I've been struggling quite a bit, and I don't, all artists go through that phase of just imposter syndrome, and the fact that I'm never going to be good enough, I'm not good enough, nothing I'm doing is ever going to resonate, or and that's really where I've been the last couple of weeks. So I really appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, and let's be honest, like I said, you get saved, and I've been performing, people will know this, for pretty well close to 15 years and now, mostly. And it's like, you can tell people that know what they're doing sometimes, and then you see people like yourself where I can see what, and I'm not giving you a hint of what you're going to do, because it's your journey, but I can get a good idea of which direction you're going to go. And I think if you keep at it, I think you've definitely got something. I really do.
Oh, thank you. That really means a lot.
Yes, I'm going to make you blush now after you leave this podcast.
Yeah. It's good job the camera's not on, actually, Andy.
But anyway, listen, mate, we're going to chat for a bit further anyway. So I need to carry on with a few bits and pieces, podcast later with you off mic anyway, Scott. But it's been a pleasure tonight, mate. It really has. So
thank you so much for having me on and letting me, share my work.
Keep at it, mate. Keep at it, mate. That's mate. And I said 40. You're welcome to come on again when the second single's out, and maybe an album even, or a book.
Oh, well, we shall see. See.
Yeah. The world's your oyster, as I would say. So, but anyway, this is it. This is it at the end of another Spoken Label session, guys. So, as Don Callis, formerly of Impact Wrestling, used to say, stay safe and stay over, and we will see you all next time. Spoken Label.